In one particularly papery land, there lived a moose named Aristotle and a woodpecker named Knock Knock. One day, Knock came up with an idea to lay out a flower bed in front of their house.
Ari, here I have tulips, here petunias, and this is where paper bellflowers grow. See?
Nope, Knock, I don't. Maybe these are invisible paper bellflowers.
Ari, you don't have a clue about paper botany. Tomorrow morning, this whole bed will be blossoming with flowers.
You've been telling me this for a week already, Knock. What if the flowers never come up?
A weed plant!
First thing in the morning, Knock dashed outside to check on his flower bed.
Hearts and flowers in gardens of ours. Hooray! Ari, come over here quick. Well, what did I tell you? Huh, Ari?
Knock, wasn't I the one who said it?
Knock was in despair. Just a few seconds ago, he'd seen the flowers with his own eyes. Where in the world could they have gone?
But they were there, for sure. Bellflowers were here, horse knops were there.
Of course they were, my friend. Just don't get upset. They were there yesterday, too. Maybe you need a nice cup of paper tea.
Oh, I must find my little flowers.
Maybe someone has stolen them.
Stolen? Of course. A crime of the century. This will not stand. Quake with fear, you thieves!
Knock started the investigation right away. He examined every square inch of the bed and inspected each paper grain of sand.
I can't figure it out. No clue at all. Seems like a cow licked them away.
Knock, Knock. You said a cow?
Knock didn't know how close he was to unveiling the secret. To be honest, it wasn't a cow that had licked away his flowers, but a calf. His name was Albert. He had run away from his mom and stumbled upon Knock's flower bed. The friends led Albert back to his mother, the cow Carolina. Carolina was very happy.
Knock! Knock! Oh, here you are. What are you doing here?
I'm going to sleep, Ari.
Sleep? Right here?
Well, of course here, Ari. I can't leave my flower bed. What if Albert runs away from his mother, Carolina the cow, and eats all the flowers again?
But you can't possibly guard them all the time.
Of course I can, Ari.
Ari realized that he couldn't change Knock's mind, so he had to think something up quickly.
What could we invent to fence your bellflowers? Bellflowers. Bells! Of course, little bells. I should have guessed it before. I should have known. So Albert won't run away from his mom again. We'll present him with a little bell to hang on his neck.
Hooray! What a paperific idea!
You will need a paper cup, a large bead, and a piece of string. Pierce a small hole in the bottom of the paper cup. That's right. Now insert the piece of string inside. Glue a paper strip to the bell to hang it on the neck. Great! Now your bell is ready. Aristotle's idea worked perfectly. Now Carolina the cow was always aware of where her baby calf was, and Knock would be alerted if Albert was getting too close to his bed.
Ah, it seems that our guests are near.
So Knock was happy that he had grown beautiful flowers. Ari, that he had helped his friend. Carolina the cow, that her calf wasn't getting lost anymore. And Albert the calf, that he had got his new bell. And that is how this story paperfully ended too. That's it. See you next paper time. particularly papery land, there lived a moose named Aristotle and a woodpecker named Knock Knock. One bright sunny morning, the friends were working out when suddenly an unexpected guest dropped in. An unexpected lady guest, to be more exact.
4, 1, 2, 3. Oh, Knock! She must be looking for you.
Nope. This is the first time I've seen this chicken.
I'm sorry, are you looking for somebody?
The unexpected guest's name was Chicken Molly. She told our friends that she had gone for a walk and got lost, and she'd give this whole sack of grain to anyone who would help her find her way home.
Don't you worry, Molly. We'll take you home without any reward at all.
Ari, this is the first time we've ever seen this chicken. How are you gonna find out her address?
Let's get going and I'll explain everything on the way. All is perfectly simple. It turns out there was a hole inside of Molly's grain bag, and everywhere she walked, a trail was left behind.
So they followed the grain trail. They walked out to the edge of the forest where Chicken Molly's house stood, or in other words, a chicken coop.
Well, here is where the grain trail ends, and that means...
It means, Molly, we've found your way home. Hooray! Phew, she didn't even say thank you.
Well, good deeds are to be done for sincerity's sake, without expecting any gratitude.
Happy that Chicken Molly had found her way home, the friends headed back to their own home. But the chicken was there waiting for them again.
Hi, Molly.
Chicken Molly was surprised. How come Knock knew her name? She told them that she went for a walk, lost her way, and she'd give a whole sack of grain to anyone who would help her find her way home.
Knock Knock, I should have realized it right away. Chickens have a very short memory, and they forget everything right away. We have to walk the poor thing home again.
It was true. The birdie didn't remember Ari, or Knock, or the fact that she'd lost her way already not so long ago.
Here you are, Molly. We found your home, coop, again.
Ari, I was just thinking, what if Molly forgets her way home again? Then what do we do?
She won't anymore.
Ari gave the absent-minded chicken a piece of paper with her address written on it. However, it didn't help with Molly's obliviousness. After they returned home, the friends met the chicken there again.
Molly, where's the note with the address I gave to you?
It seemed that Molly had forgotten what she would need the piece of paper for, and had simply thrown it away.
Molly, you live on the edge of the forest, in coop number 1. So here's another note with your address on it.
Ari, what if Molly throws the note away again, and then gets lost in the forest?
You're right, Knock. Seems like it's time to think paperfully.
No time to think, Ari. It's time to act. Paperfully.
Knock Knock had caught up to the forgetful Molly, who luckily had not lost her way yet. And meanwhile, Aristotle took up his precious double bass that helped him concentrate so much.
I got it. We'll write her address down on a boomerang.
Hooray! A paperific idea!
Take a piece of cardboard and draw on it 3 blades. Make sure all the blades are equal. Now, let's cut out our boomerang, bend it along the edges like this, and that's it. The boomerang is ready. If you try to throw it, it'll definitely come back. Aristotle wrote the address down on the boomerang and presented it to the forgetful Molly.
You see, Molly, a boomerang will always return to the one who threw it. So now, the address written on this note will always be with you.
Oh, how paperific! Now, Molly, you'll always know exactly where your home is.
Now, the friends were able to stop worrying. Chicken Molly found her way home, and they found their order and tranquility. And that means our story folded up very paperfully. See you next paper time. In one particularly papery land, there lived a moose named Aristotle and a woodpecker named Knock Knock. One nice summer morning, our friends sat drinking tea with postcard pancakes. Suddenly, somebody knocked on their door.
Come in!
A stranger scrupulously wiped his feet and made himself known. This was Leo the Lionette. He told the friends that he's their new neighbor and wanted to get acquainted. He had moved in nearby, in a house down the airbrush alley.
Ari, look at what a polite and well-mannered neighbor we have now.
I'm very happy too.
The next day, Knock Knock flew down to Airbrush Alley. He just wanted to see Leo the Lionette once again. But instead of him in the window, he stumbled upon a stranger, a spotted leopard.
Excuse me, do you know where I might be able to find Leo the Lionette?
Knock's voice made the leopard hide away in one leap. Knock was so amused that he rushed to Aristotle to share the news.
Ari, I just dropped by Leo the Lionette's house and, well, I tried to knock, but nobody was even willing to talk to me.
That is simply not possible. Leo is the most polite and well-brought-up lionette of all of the paper lionettes I know. Maybe he wasn't at home.
Maybe, but there was some paper animal in his house. Wait a second and I'll explain everything I've seen.
Knock tried to tell his friend how the animal in the window looked, but he did not find the right words. Then he darted away for the carton camera, dashed to the lionette's house, hid himself away, and made a few very paper-esque shots. Knock Knock showed Aristotle the photo. Aristotle took a closer look.
You're right, this isn't the lionette, but rather a leopard.
Yes, but he resembles our lionette friend quite a bit.
So the friends set off to Leo's house to meet his relative. Again, there was somebody in the window, but as soon as the two came closer, he took cover.
I'm worried for Leo. What if something bad happened? Let's break into the house and see.
No, that's not good. Let's go home instead and think. Huh, I knew it. I think I've solved the riddle.
Well, then why are you so quiet? Come on, unfold it.
Leo said he'd call us as soon as he'd finished with the renovation. And our lionette is quite a cleaning. He's into renovations up to his ears and he's painting the ceiling, which is why he's spotted all over.
So do you mean to say there's no leopards over there?
No, of course not. It's just our own embarrassed Leo the Lionette all covered in paint spots, which have been dripping on him drop by drop from the ceiling.
Maybe we should write him a letter to tell him we love him. Or just, go ahead and paint his ceiling.
I've got an idea. We'll present him with a paper cap for maintenance works. And then he'll be protected from the dripping paint.
A paper cap for maintenance works. Let's take a newspaper and fold it in two, like this. Then bend the upper part corners towards the center. Well done. Bend the rest of the bottom strips from both sides. Now we have this huge triangle. Let's fling it open and reverse. We've got a square now. Beautiful. Bend the bottom corners from the center upwards, from one side and then from the other. We have another triangle. Amazing! Now let's fling it open as well.
Bingo! The paper cap for maintenance is ready.
The friends carried the gift to Leo's house, and before long, he came in himself, spotless, clean, washed, and thanked them for the cap heartily. Since he was no longer bothered by the paint, he finished the renovation very fast. And then he invited Ari and Knock to the housewarming party. But the party at the Lionette's house is a whole different story. See you next paper time. In one particularly papery land, there lived a moose named Aristotle and a woodpecker named Knock Knock. Once upon a time, in the height of a paperback summer, Aristotle and Knock Knock discovered that leaves started to fall too early from their tree.
Knock, it seems to me that something's wrong with our tree. Don't you think?
No, Ari, not something wrong happening, but somebody wrong is happening.
This somebody was found to be a little bug. He explained that he did not want to eat the leaves, not in the least. He just planned to devour the whole tree from the bottom to the top. But he didn't know how to do it yet because he was too small.
Excuse me, little bug. This tree is our home, and a gentleman would never eat another gentleman's home.
Or they wouldn't eat their own houses either. I don't think.
You don't want to grow up to be a bad, grumpy bug, do you?
And then the little bug got completely upset. All his buggy friends and acquaintances grow up and become bark beetles, so their diet was trees exclusively. Who in the world would he become if he couldn't eat trees?
Yep, it doesn't fold up too well, does it? Listen, little bug, why do you need to grow up into a bark beetle anyway? Be someone else.
The bug was confused. Well, can I? He asked.
For sure. You just need to act paperfully.
Aristotle and Knock Knock suggested that the bug should turn to a snail. But the kid flatly refused the idea of carrying heavy loads on his back.
What else is there to offer him? Aha! I think becoming a bee is a perfect idea, because bees are very useful insects.
Brilliant! Little insect, if you eat plenty of honey, I'm sure you'll become a bee very soon.
The little bug had never tried honey in his life, so he was all for it right away.
Uh-oh. What do you think, Knock? Is he ready to turn into a bee yet?
Ari, I can't speak for him, but I feel like I'm turning into a bee already. Buzz!
Well, okay. Now you should pollen a flower. Come on. Well, it's as certain as a cardboard box that he's no good as a bee.
Ari, maybe it's time to get some rest.
Wait, I have another idea. Worms are enormously useful. They help stir the ground.
So Aristotle and Knock Knock suggested that the bug should become a worm. However, it emerged that the kid doesn't like much darkness, so he refused to grow into a worm as well.
So you don't want to become a worm because you're afraid of the dark. What do we do now? It's time for me to think in a very paperful way.
Here, the bug admitted that he doesn't like darkness, but he is enormously fond of light, and that the only thing he could think of turning into is most probably a star.
Of course! You'll become a star. All you need is light.
But what light, Ari?
We'll make up a lantern for him.
How to make a lantern for a bug. Fold a piece of colored paper in half by the long side. Now make cuts from the side of the folding, like this. Spread the sheet and roll it as a pipe by gluing the narrow sides of the sheet. Cut out a handy holder and glue it to the lantern. Your lantern is ready.
Yes, his life has become much more illuminated.
You're right, Knock Knock. He found his place in life, and his light will help others.
Aristotle the moose and Knock Knock the woodpecker were very happy for the lightning bug. See, he's become a real star. In this life, some stars shine for themselves, and some shine to help everyone find their way. See you next paper time. In one particularly papery land, there lived a moose named Aristotle and a woodpecker named Knock Knock. One day, Aristotle and Knock Knock went out for a walk through the paper forest and bumped into some very strange flowers growing in a meadow.
Hey, Knock, my old friend. Take a look at how strange these flowers look. I have never seen such vivid colors before.
You're right, Ari. Let's pick them, and we can study them in detail.
The friends collected the flowers carefully and took them home.
Just think, maybe we've discovered a new flower species. A lot of new flower species, actually. I bet you in the language of scientists, they would call it a flowerus many-colorus.
I guess we should celebrate this and drink some sweet ink tea.
Maybe you know by now that Aristotle and Knock Knock love to drink ink tea very much. Sweet tea in particular.
I'd love to drink some sweet tea with pleasure. Yikes! Knock Knock, look! Our room burst into blossom.
But at that moment, Knock Knock noticed that the flowers they brought were gone.
Ari, I don't want to spoil our fun, but those flowers have disappeared. And I think they've moved to this side.
Unbelievable! The flowers seem to have mysteriously shifted.
Ari, are flowers able to move?
No, they aren't. If only...
If only what?
If only we hadn't discovered a totally new species of running flowers.
Aha! Flowerous runner rounder us.
Yes, I guess it's time for a paperous thinkerous. I should give it a paperful thought.
But Ari was not successful in his thinking because he heard his friend Knock Knock yelling.
Ari, don't worry, but I'm gonna yell. Ah!
All over the interior, in all the rooms, throughout all the passages, and even besides the entrance to the friend's house, there were flowers.
Incredible! Just how come there's a jillion flowers scattered all around here?
I don't know, Ari. They must have collected themselves. We need to do something paperful about it.
First, I need to think this paperfully through. Well, of course. Look, Knock. Doesn't this resemble anything to you?
Sure, it's a queue. But why would flowers stand in a queue?
Aristotle took his friend to the start of the queue and poured some sweet tea in a saucer.
The flowers would not join a queue, but the butterflies would.
So, they're butterflies?
Sure they are. They're migrating. They fly by to the faraway lands and they need strength to cover the distance. That's why they're so attracted by this sweet tea of yours.
How to make a paper butterfly. Cut out 2 square pieces from paper of different colors. Fold them like bellows, after which secure each bellows with a thread or using a stapler, like this. Now, join together 2 sheets and spread the paper butterfly's wings. The paper butterfly is ready.
So, Ari, it turns out now that we didn't discover any new species of flowers.
My dear Knock Knock, instead, we've discovered many new species of butterflies.
Right! Now I'm gonna name them all. We'll call this reddest tea drinkerus, and this one can be yellowish sugar chumpus, and, blue wingus papillonis. There you go.
Aristotle the moose and Knock Knock the woodpecker were paper-whelmingly happy that they had helped the butterflies gain some strength for their long, long flight. And when the flock of butterflies took to the air and flew away, the friends kept watching them disappear. It was all very beautiful, because butterflies resemble flowers so much. Flowers which can fly. See you next paper time. In one particularly papery land, there lived a moose named Aristotle and a woodpecker named Knock Knock. One utterly common afternoon, a completely uncommon but long-awaited guest popped by to the friends' living room.
Ari, I'm so excited because today, from the faraway Paper Africa, our friend Mumba is coming to see us.
Oh, what a delightful event, Knock Knock. We have to be warm, welcoming hosts, as is customary in Paperland.
The friends were so excited with the upcoming guest because Mumba had been traveling from Paper Africa itself, which is on the other side of the earth.
Hello, Mumba.
Welcome, dear friend. Welcome to our paper forest.
And though Aristotle and Knock Knock offered to Mumba the finest refreshments available in the paper forest, their guest from the faraway Paper Africa had shown no interest for it.
I don't know, Ari. I think maybe we're not so hospitable. It's obvious that our guest is not enjoying the treats we put out for him.
Here, Mumba readily reassured the friends that he was very pleased with their reception, but confessed that in Paper Africa, they prefer very different dainties. And to bolster up his friends, he offered them a taste of the bananas he brought.
As you know, paper mooses are not experts in exotic fruits. But my intuition suggests that something is amiss.
Well, paper woodpeckers aren't experts either, Ari. But I have to agree with you.
But because of Mumba's long journey, the bananas had gone bad, which made the guest very upset, as he wanted to treat Aristotle and Knock Knock so badly.
It's not an easy situation, Ari. Bananas don't grow around here in our paper forest.
Of course, Knock. They only grow in Paper Africa. But if we try to bring them from there, they will certainly go bad again.
Mumba told them that the most paperlicious bananas are those taken right from the tree. But unfortunately, throughout the whole paper forest, there was not a single, however small, banana palm tree.
A paperific idea has just occurred to me. Now, I would say we should go to sleep, and in the morning, we will find a solution to our problem.
Mumba and Knock listened to Aristotle's advice. The more so, it was quite late, and all well-brought-up woodpeckers and mooses were supposed to be sleeping by now. The next morning, Knock and Mumba woke up and came outside.
I don't get it. We fell asleep in the paper forest, but now we've woken up in Paper Africa.
Of course not, Knock. It's as easy as a piece of paper. So, while you were asleep, I gave a call to our friends in Paper Africa, and I asked them to plant a banana palm tree, not with the head up, but rather with the head down.
Aha! I see now. Since that land lies on the opposite part of the earth from us, the palm tree must have grown through the earth and appeared here in our paper forest.
All correct, my friend.
Hooray! How paperful!
Cut short slits on a brown strip of paper. Fold a green piece of paper into the form of bellows and cut half-round leaves out of it. That's right. Now, glue the leaves onto the brown paper and fold it into a trunk with the use of a pencil. Glue it together, and your palm tree is ready. Sometimes, thanks to imagination and resourcefulness, you can succeed in doing something that at one point seemed unachievable, especially if you have paperfully thought it out before. See you next paper time. In one particularly papery land, there lived a moose named Aristotle and a woodpecker named Knock Knock. One day, Aristotle and Knock Knock went fishing in the river, and wow, was it their lucky day. The fish were biting like a charm. Once they'd caught enough fish, Aristotle and Knock Knock headed back home. They walked cheerfully through the folded forest. Or, actually, only Aristotle walked. Knock Knock flew along beside him because Knock Knock is a woodpecker, and woodpeckers fly better than walk. Suddenly, the friends stopped because on their way they saw an adorable little bunny rabbit playing a drum solo on a tree stump.
Look, Ari, what a sweet little rabbit. Maybe it's lost and hungry. Oh, let's feed it.
No, Doc. Rabbits don't eat fish.
Well, that just sounds crazy to me. So what do they eat then?
Well, rabbits love carrots and cabbage and stuff like that.
Well, let's take it home with us. It can be our paper pet, and we'll feed it with carrots and cabbage.
Well, that's a paperific idea.
It should be noted that in this very papery land, the word paperific means very, very good. And when somebody says a paperific idea in paper language, there's no doubt that it just can't be any better. The friends brought the bunny home and gave it a carrot. Then they hung their fish up to dry and folded themselves up in their paper beds to catch some Z's.
A paperist disaster! Ari, someone's stolen our catch in the night!
Indeed, almost half of the fish they'd caught were gone.
It's perfectly clear that someone sneaked into our kitchen and snatched our fish.
Clear? No, I think it was quite a dirty trick.
Well, wait a minute, Doc. Is there anything else missing?
No, just our fish.
What about the bunny?
Did you see any fish thieves?
Well, I guess this rabbit feet stamping should mean I saw no one. Yet someone did steal our fish. I must think this through paperfully.
But this is a paper strophe. We have to do something.
Now, whenever Aristotle tries to figure something out, he plays something on his double bass.
The trap is set! I can't wait to tell Ari! I caught you in my tapey web, villain! Hey, Ari, where are the thieves? Sorry, Ari. I just planned to catch the thieves. Oh, what a mistape!
I know what happened to our fish. See, I put this box over our rabbit and leave some fish inside. What do you think is in the box now, Knock?
I say it's the bunny and the fish.
Aristotle pulled off the box, but instead of the adorable bunny or the fish, there was a pink cat.
That cat ate our bunny?
Aristotle did the box trick again, and the cat was replaced by the same old pink rabbit.
I'm so confused.
Well, it's as simple as a piece of paper. No one came to steal our fish. Our pet devoured it.
You said rabbits don't eat fish.
Correct. Rabbits don't. But this one is no rabbit. Let me introduce you to a bunny cat.
Aristotle picked up the rabbit and tugged on its little bunny tail. The tail grew longer, just as the long rabbit ears grew shorter. Now the rabbit looked just like a cat. Draw the body of a bunny cat and the tail and ears all together in one piece. Scissor them out neatly, then cut slits for the ears and the tail and put it all together. It's a cat, bunny, bunny cat.
Hooray! It turned out pretty paperful, don't you think?
And the bunny cat stayed with our friends Ari and Knock Knock. They fed it with fresh fish and the freshest carrots and stuff, and it would purr happily or play pad drum solos on the table, both of which probably meant in the bunny cat language, you guys are awesome friends. See you next paper time. In one particularly papery land, there lived a moose named Aristotle and a woodpecker named Knock Knock. One day, just like any other paperback day, Aristotle and Knock Knock were having their lunch at home.
Every day we eat here at home.
Well, sure, Knock. Go ahead, take some more of these cardboard cookies.
Ari, this is so boring to always eat lunch at home, don't you think?
Well, what do you suggest? We could maybe have a picnic, for example, in the open, paper, fresh air.
A paperific idea. But what's a picnic?
A picnic is a little trip to the outdoors. They usually include a small table and food to eat in a nice place somewhere amidst the beauty of nature.
It sounds great. Let's rush to eat food at the paper lake.
Wait, Knock. Look, I'm not hungry at all now. And I don't want to rush anywhere just yet.
Then I'll have my own picnic alone.
But a picnic is not for one. It should always involve some friends. Let's put up a picnic tomorrow.
Tomorrow? The first thing tomorrow I want to do is fly on a very, very important business trip. I have an appointment at the dentist's. I need to replace my temporary beak with a permanent one. Let's meet by the lake after lunch.
But how can you have lunch after lunch? We should meet right at lunchtime instead.
A paperific idea.
The next day, Knock Knock went away on business early in the morning, and Aristotle the moose sat waiting for lunchtime. He was contemplating different curious things. After a little while, Aristotle realized that all he was thinking about is food. It made him understand that lunchtime had come, so he rushed to the paper lake.
Huh, where's Knock Knock? Could it be that he forgot about our picnic?
Aristotle could not start eating the food without his friend, since they had decided to have a picnic together. That's why he waited, and waited, and waited. At last, he gave up and set out in search of the woodpecker.
I have to find Knock Knock.
Aristotle went to find his friend, but as soon as he left, Knock Knock hurriedly flew in. He spent too much time at the dentist because the dentist was waiting until the new beak would stick as firmly as it should.
Oh, where's my friend Aristotle? I have no doubt that lunchtime has already come and gone. The table's here, so Ari was here too for the picnic. I wonder why he didn't wait.
Oh, I've been looking for Knock Knock here and there. I even popped over to the dentist's office and found Knock's old beak, but I didn't find him anywhere I went.
Ari, you're here? I've been trying to find you for ages.
Knock, we agreed that we'd meet at the paper lake at lunchtime. Where have you been?
Me? I was there, by the lake, at exactly lunchtime.
That sounds odd. Two of us were by the lake at lunchtime, but somehow we didn't meet. How did it happen? I guess I'll have to give it a paperful thought. I got it! The problem was that we came to the lake at different times. I came first, and you flew in after me. It's all because we didn't have a clock to check the time.
Bingo! If we had had a clock, we would have known exactly when this elusive lunchtime arrives. Let's make a clock out of paper.
Let's cut a circle out of a piece of paper and draw numbers on it. Then let's cut out two arrows, one big and one small, and fix all of these together with a drawing pin. The paper clock is ready. Though keep in mind that it doesn't show actual time, but the Paperland time. So the friends took the clock and hung it over the most prominent place, since then they knew exactly what time it was in Paperland. And that's how our story paperfully unfolded. See you next paper time. In one particularly papery land, there lived a moose named Aristotle and a woodpecker named Knock Knock. One day, Knock Knock and Aristotle sat down to play paper Scrabble.
Look here, Knock. I've made up the word park, which means I've won again.
What? Again? No, Ari, that's not fair. There's no such word.
You're off the mark, Knock. Park is a special place where trees grow. Not all higgly-piggly, but the way it's supposed to be.
Supposed by whom? By the trees?
No, Knock. Naturally, not by the trees. By us, for example. You see, when trees are together, they can grow in shapes of circles, squares, or even in the shape of a heart. And paper hearts can be so lovely.
Of a heart? Yes, a heart is very paperly.
It should be noted that a short distance away from the friend's house, there was a postcard plane. And on that very plane, the friends agreed to lay out their park.
Knock Knock. It's gonna be a marvelous park, and its shape will resemble a heart.
Knock Knock took a look around but saw no heart at all.
Strange, Ari. Your park resembles a tree shape. I mean, plenty of trees.
My friend, the park will look like a heart if we see it from a bird's eye view, because a point of view matters.
Uh-huh. Well, that's where it is. I should have guessed.
And the friends went on setting the trees because they impatiently wanted to see what the park would look like.
Well, that's all. The park's done.
Hooray! Now let's take a look what it might be from a bird's eye view.
All of a sudden, the woodpecker realized that Ari can't see the park from a bird's eye view, since it happened that he wasn't a bird and doesn't know how to fly. At all. Not a bit.
Ari, are you sure that you don't fly?
Well, I've never really tried.
Let's go ahead then and try it. It's as easy as pie.
And Knock Knock started to teach Aristotle how to fly.
That's right, great. And now you have to flap your wings.
Knock, but I don't have wings.
Well, then flap whatever you have.
Aristotle jumped up and started swinging his arms and feet as best he could.
I'm flying! I did not realize how cool it is to be a paper moose and fly.
Well, let's proceed to Plan B.
And the friends went on to Plan B.
Ari, this is steam. It will help you soar.
Ouch! 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 That's boiling hot!
Right, but you almost did it, Ari. Let's try once again.
No, Knock. Let's try something else. Go on to another plan.
Well, whatever you say, Ari. Let's try Plan T then.
However, soon it became obvious that Plan T and other plans also did not help.
We need a brand new plan. Ari, we need a plan.
Bingo! We need not just a simple plan. We need an airplane.
Hooray! Airplane! Hoo, how paperful!
Fold a paper sheet in half. Then bend the corners towards the center. Now, bend the upper part and fold the corners once again. Fold the sheet in half and unbend the wings. And now, your airplane is ready.
Oh, paper-ficient! Now, we can see our park from a bird's eye view.
Yes. And not only a bird's eye view, my dear friend.
It would make any bird jealous, because we're on the toppest top.
Aristotle the moose and Knock Knock the woodpecker were enjoying the flight, so this story also unfolded very paperfully, because it turned out that everybody who has imagination can fly, and you don't have to be a bird for that. Although, well, you can be a bird. No one's gonna blame you for that. See you next paper time. In one particularly papery land, there lived a moose named Aristotle and a woodpecker named Knock Knock. Once upon a time, the friends received a letter from the famous city of Papyrus. It was written by their old acquaintance, LeFrog. He asked Aristotle and Knock Knock to visit him and help him sort through a strange incident.
It's been a long time, my friend, since we got any word from our friend LeFrog.
Cool, Ari. Well, what does he say?
Knock, it's about some strange incident. Our friend tells us that the cheese reserves have been disappearing mysteriously in the city of Papyrus. The residents are very distressed because they love cheese so much.
What a discoloring experience. And what does our friend LeFrog think about it?
He's inviting us to Papyrus. He says that only we can solve such complicated paper-fying mysteries. Knock, let's go to Papyrus. Let's roll.
Head first to paperific adventures.
So our friends went on a journey to help out their old acquaintance LeFrog and all the Papyrus residents. Monsieur LeFrog told the friends that the Paperisians had hid away all the cheese reserves that were left in order to protect them from the mysterious thief.
Isn't it a paperific idea to collect all the cheese in one place? This is the perfect bait for a thief. Thumbs up, LeFrog.
Now, we'll track down that criminal without a doubt. Am I right, Ari?
Probably yes, my friend. Most probably we will.
To our friends' surprise, the warehouse was completely empty. Not a piece of cheese had been left on the shelves.
I don't get it. The lock is intact, but the warehouse is empty as a drum. This is absolutely not paperful.
We need to give it a close look over. Perhaps the thief has left a clue.
Great job, LeFrog. You found the dugout trench the thief used to take away all the cheese.
No, this is not a simple trench, my friends. This is a hole's mole. I mean a mole's hole.
Ari, are you confusing that with something else? Moles don't eat cheese. Everybody knows that. Mice are cheese eaters.
Maybe that's a special mole. I think we should track him down and interrogate him about everything.
But how will we find him, given that his hole is too narrow and too dark? Oh, we should wait and just sit here until he comes over.
We're not going to do that. I know how to draw him out. We should use a little bit of cheese as some paperlicious bait.
Bingo! But there's no cheese anymore.
It's okay, my friend. We can make up some of our own.
Hooray! A paperific idea!
So, let's make some cheese.
We'll need glue and yellow-colored paper. Cut out a long, broad strip of paper, and now make 2 folds. Glue the obtained triangle together. Then, with scissors, cut out strips of different length and width and roll them into rings using a pencil. Glue these rings together. Now glue the rings into the triangle and you'll get holes for your cheese. I mean, you'll get cheese holes. Your cheese is ready.
Good afternoon.
Whoa! This is a mouse! Or a mole. No, it's a mouse. Or a mole. Oh, I don't get it.
Knock, it's not a mole or a mouse. It's a mole mouse. A true rarity.
Now it was clear who'd been seeking out all the cheese in Papyrus.
LeFrog, would you mind if we took the mole mouse back with us to the paper forest?
Because over there, we have so much space, he could dig himself the deepest and longest holes.
And in order to make him happy, from time to time, Knock and I will give him some cheese.
Homemade cheese.
The friends said goodbye to LeFrog and headed home. So this story folded up very paperfully. Cheese stopped disappearing in the city of Papyrus, and Knock Knock, with Aristotle, acquired themselves a new extraordinary friend. See you next paper time. In one particularly papery land, there lived a moose named Aristotle and a woodpecker named Knock Knock.
The sea was raging, but Captain Rock stood solidly on the deck. He peered into the horizon, and the wind was blowing his salty hair. Oh, how much I want to be like Captain Rock. He's so super paper.
And I want to have a bite. So, Captain Knock, let's sail back home.
Aristotle started to row back towards the shore, but all of a sudden, they felt a shock.
Hey, can you be a little more careful?
That wasn't me, Knock.
Ari tried to row faster, but the boat was out of his control.
Oh!
Oh boy! Holy papers! This is a storm!
A storm? No way! We're on a lake!
Well, it feels like the ocean now. This is a real storm, believe me. Just listen. An unknown force tossed the ship and swirled it like a chip.
Whoa!
The friends were afraid that the boat would turn over, but the paper lake all of a sudden calmed down once again.
Whew. Seems like it's over now. Let's sail back ashore before it starts again.
But then it started again. The lake was rocking and shaking anew.
I think you should read the book again, Knock, because when you do, the storm seems to go down.
The storm was going down. The sailors couldn't believe how lucky they were.
More, Knock. Just don't stop reading. I don't know how, but it seems to work. It seems to work just paperfully.
But just then, gigantic sharp-toothed jaws emerged from the black abyss.
The immense head of a sea monster appeared from the water.
Good afternoon, sir. The weather's just paperfully fine today, isn't it?
But the monster was not interested in talking about the weather. It wanted to listen to the book to the very end.
Excuse me, Mr. Monster. We would gladly give you the book so you can read it through on your own.
But the monster was monstrously illiterate. It was unable to read.
Ari, I'm gonna be just like Captain Rock, and don't you try to hold me back.
Knock had grimly determined to become a hero, but Aristotle could not let his friend get into danger. He had to find a way out as soon as possible.
Wait, Knock! I think I know what to do. We'll make up a book with pictures, and then the monster can find out how the story ends.
Oh, that means I won't ever become a hero. Never.
A hero is not one who defeats his enemy, Knock, but one who wins over a friend.
A book for the monster. Take a piece of paper, fold it through the length and breadth, make a small cut, and presto, your paper book is now ready. From now on, all you have to do is draw pictures on the pages. Knock set about to make the drawings. The book perfectly fit for all the fearless captain's adventures.
Here, take it. Everything is inside. Huh, this monster isn't so monstrous after all.
Though I'm monstrously hungry.
And the friends went back home. After all the adventures they'd had, they deserved something paperlicious. See you next paper time. In one particularly papery land, there lived a moose named Aristotle and a woodpecker named Knock Knock. Once upon a time, on New Year's Eve, the friends were up to traveling to the other side of the earth, the dark paperland.
Knock, what a postcard idea it is to go see the new year in the faraway dark paperland.
Yup, Ari, a perfect idea. Just imagine, sea, sun, and sand.
And most importantly, no snow at all.
Exactly, not a trace of snow. New Year in the dark paperland is just unbelievable. Is it really possible, Ari?
Of course it is, Knock, because all wishes come true on New Year's Day.
So the friends went to the distant dark paperland to see the new year on a warm seashore far from snowfalls and blizzards. Down there in the dark paperland, their old acquaintance Mumba met them.
Happy New Year to you, Mumba.
I wish you, Mumba, a very happy new paper day.
Mumba did not understand what Aristotle and Knock Knock were talking about. Nobody in this land had a clue what New Year's Eve was and never celebrated it, since in the dark paperland, summer was year-round and winter never came.
What? You don't know what New Year's is?
This is the best holiday under the sun.
The most paperful holiday.
So the friends told Mumba about the New Year's tree, winter, snow, and how to make a snowman, playing snowball fights and going skiing, skating, and tobogganing.
And the most important is that on New Year's, all one's dearest wishes do come true.
Mumba got very upset because he had a dearest wish. But since New Year's Day never occurs in his motherland, his wish would never come true.
What should we do?
Don't be sad, Mumba. We're gonna put up a real New Year's Day right here in Dark Paperland. And so your wish will definitely come true.
Hooray! A real New Year's Day! But, Ari, there's nothing New Yearish around us. Not a thing.
Exactly, my friend. There isn't anything. So we'll make it all ourselves. Although, it will make us sweat, at least a little bit.
So the friends got down to work. They planned to put up a true New Year's Day because they didn't want their friend Mumba to feel down.
Okay, it looks pretty similar now.
Yes, Knock, it really does. But something is still missing here.
I got it, Ari. The snow is missing. We need some real snow here.
Of course, Knock. Snow consists of many small snowflakes. They are exactly what we need.
We'll need white, silver, and blue paper and scissors. Take a square piece of the paper, but don't make it too thick. Fold it into two like a triangle. Fold the obtained triangle the same way 3 more times. Now, cut out the various figures and patterns on each side of the triangle. Very good. Your snowflake is ready.
Now we have the real winter and the real New Year. Hooray! Happy New Year, Ari. Happy New Year, Mumba.
A true picture postcard New Year. Happy New Year, Mumba. Happy New Year, Knock.
Mumba's dearest wish was to see real snow, which he had never seen in the dark paperland. And this wish came true, because if you do it all paperfully, wishes come true anywhere on Earth. And whether this is the dark paperland or some other land, it makes no difference. See you next paper time.